suffered far worse.
Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're going to talk about the 10 hardest bosses across all Star Wars video games.
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Darth Malak, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
Well done, Revan.
Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic still holds up today thanks to BioWare's timeless game design. While not without its flaws, it does have some of the coolest Star Wars villains ever designed, and naturally, they come with really hard boss fights. Darth Malak is both awesome and difficult, and if you aren't prepared enough, he'll completely run you over. Even at max level, you still might lose if you don't have the right build. You'll need some pretty good gear to safely take him down, unless you enjoy torturing yourself, of course.
I cannot be beaten. I am the Dark Lord of the Sith.
Sith Warrior, Star Wars The Force Unleashed. The Force Unleashed is without a doubt one of the most dynamic and fun Star Wars games out there. It's like a blend of Devil May Cry and God of War gameplay. In the Jedi Temple DLC, Darth Malak goes to Coruscant to search for answers, but he ends up meeting and facing off against a darker version of himself, the Sith Warrior, who foreshadows what will happen if Starkiller goes down a darker route himself. But how can you say no to that drip? Starkiller is extremely powerful, and so is his dark counterpart. Get ready to get ragdolled and comboed much like we ourselves did to Coda.
You can never escape me.
Are you there? Did you find what you were looking for?
Oggdo and Spawn of Oggdo, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Most people will never forget encountering Oggdo Bogdo in Jedi Fallen Order. Coming in fresh to the game and barely getting a hang of the mechanics before you're faced with this monstrosity of a boss. But then, Star Wars Jedi Survivor came out, and Oggdo is back. Not only are they back, but they seem to have a child now, aptly named Spawn of Oggdo. Oggdo was already a ruthless boss, so good luck dealing with two of them. No matter how you slice it, this is an abysmally hard boss fight. To fight both of them, you'll need to find their Force Tear adenomas. We wonder how big Oggdo's family will be in the next one. Boba Fett and Slave One, Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. There's been a lot more Star Wars games than people think, and especially if we look at the 90s. Star Wars Shadows of the Empire is a very early 3D Star Wars game, so controls and game mechanics weren't as fleshed out or as functional as they are today. This was a pretty big deal when it came to a boss fight, as the controls are just plain unforgiving. But to defeat Boba Fett and his ship the Slave One, you'll need to somehow muster up an accurate aim against this incredibly agile enemy. You'll acquire your own jetpack eventually, but good luck hitting him in midair. Darth Malgus, Star Wars The Old Republic.
Watch the final moments of your Republic fleet.
With Darth Malgus' design, it becomes pretty clear that BioWare was inspired by their own villain Malak years later with the Old Republic MMO. But nearly a decade had passed since the last one, and Darth Malgus was an upgrade. More menacing, badass, and fleshed out. And thanks to this game being an MMO, the game devs felt completely justified in making this boss fight ridiculously over-the-top strong. Just know that you're in for a harsh whooping if you try to do his flashpoint on your own. Kell Dragon, Star Wars Jedi Knight, Dark Forces 2. Even before Shadows of the Empire, Star Wars was early on the 3D gaming market thanks to a series known as Star Wars Jedi Knight. The first of these games were the Dark Forces games, and in 1997, Dark Forces 2 came out. The game had both first and third-person gameplay, and offered pretty well-developed shooter mechanics even for today's standards. And while the player's options had increased a bit, bosses like Kell Dragon hadn't developed very much at this point. It's a giant lizard with barely 2 different moves, but it hits like a truck and one-shots you easily. It's also incredibly spongy, so it's just overall really difficult. You can hop up and try to hide on a nearby ledge in the arena, but you'll have to get down and face it head on if you want to beat it. Darth Traya, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords. Darth Traya is one of the most memorable Star Wars boss fights ever, though you gotta admit her name is a little on the nose. At the Traya's core, Darth Traya, the Betrayer, previously known as Kriya, had been guiding us throughout our journey and acted as our mentor. Despite Revan redeeming himself and fighting the Sith, Darth Traya had been fostering her own Sith order, and now it's up to us to take her down. She gets force powers on a completely different level to ours, and her lightsabers fight us without her even touching them. With her wide range of abilities, it's best to bring as many buffs and stims as you can.
There is no dishonor in any of these choices. I only ask that you make the choice without regret.
Seer and Vader, Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
You have failed me, Inquisitor.
Avenge us! Kell, run!
In Jedi Survivor, we get to finally fight Vader after our near-death experience in Fallen Order. Unfortunately, Kell just wasn't strong enough to contend with such an opponent, so in the first game, we're just trying to get away. But now with Seer returned to form in the sequel, Vader has a bit more of a formidable opponent. However, Seer is still outmatched. Darth Vader is the boogeyman at this point in Star Wars, and even a seasoned Jedi Master won't be enough. Though we do come close, Vader is just too powerful, marking it a second time we lose to him in this series. Begs the question, how's the next one gonna go?
It is delusion to think your actions have had any consequence.
Darth Maul, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
I have killed your master, and now it is your turn to die, young Jedi.
We couldn't make a video like this without talking about the movie tie-in games. Thanks to the game having the exact same name as the movie, it's often overlooked and forgotten about. But the Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace game is relatively dense mechanically for the time it came out. It also has one of the hardest boss fights in a Star Wars game ever, and it's, you guessed it, Darth Maul. This guy is fast, ruthless, and pretty damaging. That's probably why Qui-Gon rage quit too. Just like in the movie, it'll be up to Obi-Wan, aka us, to take him down. Make the wrong move though, and he'll instantly take you out. Darth Vader, Star Wars The Force Unleashed.
I've trained you well, but you still have much to learn.
You have nothing left to teach me.
Now for arguably the most awesome and difficult boss fight in Star Wars history, Darth Vader in The Force Unleashed. Most people don't even know that you can actually get a second ending by finishing off Vader in a round 2 either. Thanks to the gameplay being so fast-paced and dynamic, they had the liberty to make it a bit more challenging too. And this fight is really challenging. Not only is Vader himself a powerhouse who doesn't care at all that you're hitting him, you also have to play the floor as lava simultaneously. If you can overcome Vader's extreme difficulty, the game even lets you choose to finish him off for an evil ending. Cool! Did you have trouble with any of the bosses in this video? Tell us how your fights went down below in the comments.